There comes a moment in every healing journey when balance is no longer enough, when surviving isn't the same as living, when the heart whispers that wholeness isn't found in holding everything together, but in letting everything belong. This season begins there, in the quiet truth that love is the key and embodiment is the doorway. Living whole is not about getting to perfection. It's about coherence. It's about sanctuary. It's about meeting the fractured parts of ourselves with enough tenderness that they finally come home. And in that homecoming, something opens. The heart, the mind, the spirit, the energy that moves through us when we stop closing ourselves off to the very moments that are trying to free us. In this episode, I want to explore that opening, the shift from surviving to integrating, from bracing to allowing, from a closed heart to an open one, flowing one. This is the beginning of living whole, of this season. It starts right here, in the space where love meets truth, and truth becomes a way of being. This is your Soulful magazine coming from Mel's heart, speaking my truth like an editorial. So let's start breaking some of this down on what living whole actually means. And from the anchor statement in that beginning, that healing is not just surviving or about balancing, it's integrating. So we're taking on all the seasons that we've had before, looking at who we're becoming, self-love and inner leadership, and then finding balance. All those things lead to living whole. And then wholeness is about embracing all those parts of ourselves, even the fractured ones, and living with coherence, authenticity, and sanctuary. So when we look at that, what does that actually mean? Well, integration is when the parts of ourselves that once felt separate, so say we've got that hurt part, we've got that strong part, we've got the sacred part, we've got the wise part, finally stop fighting each other. It's when your inner world stops being a battlefield and it becomes a home, a sanctuary, a place of peace. And in its coherence, it's your thoughts, emotions, your body and spirit all moving in the same direction. You know, how many times have you sat there just listening to your thoughts and feeling overwhelmed by the thoughts that are going on in your head? And in many ways, all of our past is actually attached to our memories and our thoughts. Past has already happened. We can't change anything that's happened. And so all those past parts may be separating ourselves from our inner sanctuary to be at peace, to find joy, to feel happiness in this present moment. Because what are we doing with some of those past parts and those hurt parts? Are we pushing them down? Well, that's closing our heart. We're just numbing them. We're not wanting to solve them or work out what's going on with how to heal and get past those parts because they hurt too much. And that's closing our heart off as well. And when we cling and dedicate and be stuck on other things that are going on that, you know, sort of like be more dependent on someone or something or an addiction, those are closing ourselves off as well. So when we get to a point where we want to live in a sanctuary, we want to come home, we want to be at peace, we want to feel like we're living whole, that we are moving in the same direction, every single part of us, our thoughts, our emotions, our body, our spirit are moving all in the same direction. Parts of ourselves fracture because we had to survive. we had to get through a tough moment. We had to get through things that happen in our lives. Then triggers may occur because that trigger means that that trauma hasn't been dealt with. And we split ourselves off to cope, to stay safe, to keep going. But those parts don't just disappear, they just went underground. And integration is not about fixing them. It's about welcoming them back. So what does integration feel like? It's an internal spaciousness. There's a less reactivity to them. There's a sense of inner alignment. And I feel it. Like I feel that inner alignment just coming together and all parts of me internally, I just feel at peace. It's a quieter nervous system that's more in parasympathetic because you've just really reduced all the cortisol in you. It's that feeling, I'm not abandoning myself anymore. I'm being the best person for me. And I've learnt that the hard way over the last decade. So in integrating the fractured parts, I spent years, most of my life, pushing trauma down. Like from my childhood to survive again, I had to get through what I was going through, and I kept on pushing it down, blocking it out, not wanting to know any part of it. When I moved on from that part, then something else would happen, then something else would happen. I kept on pushing it down until my late 30s, and then finally I went to psychotherapy for a couple of years and dealt with that. And then more trauma happened when I was in the military, and I did the same thing. I started pushing it down. Similar threats happened to me. I pushed it away until it was about 7 years later, it finally sort of popped up, and I dealt with it, and I told somebody, and I was able to really release that. We want to get to that release, and we don't want to push things down. When they pop up, that's when our body is saying, hey, you got to deal with this. Because all that time, my heart stayed closed as a survival strategy. And this is how integration didn't happen in one moment. It happened through truth, presence, and allowing. And it's not pushing any parts of me away, even little Mel, who I wanted to keep safe and protected. I no longer hide her away because I know that she is safe now. And I can utilize her wisdom and her playfulness and have that childlike nature in me again. And that is something special. So when we can heal all of our parts, we find that we're more playful, we're more fun, we're more open, we're more just at peace with ourselves and with our environment. And then that helped me over the last month to really stop living from my trauma and start living from my truth. And that's how I integrated my fractured parts. And what I noticed is that I am open. I am free to be me. And I live. And this is not a declaration, it's a frequency. I've really felt that difference. I've stepped out of survival mode and into myself. This is living whole. My last episode at the end of Finding Balance, I spoke about the key of love. And this next key is really energy is the natural consequence of an open heart. So if we take our dynamic trio of our body, mind, and spirit, we bring that together and apply love. That to my physical body I love, to my mind I love, to my spirit I love, and none of that can close my heart. But it's not also just about loving them. It's about collaboration. It's allowing them to speak to each other. I'm letting them lead me in many ways. And because of that, I feel lighter. I'm not holding on to all this stuff that I don't need to hold on to. I can live my life and be free. And that has the possibility of infinity. And it feels like internally that a light has switched on. So we've got the key to love, but we also have the key of opening up the unlimited energy within us. And as I was discovering this, I recently started to find Michael A. Singer's work and concept that he was speaking about. When you open your spirit, your heart remains open, your energy becomes unlimited, and how that really was just in sync with what I was learning. And then I read about it. And when the heart is closed, then something touches an old wound, or we are triggered in some way, or we've gone through burnout, or depression is just darkening all of our thoughts at once. It's the emotional bracing, the survival mode that we have to have if we're in a trauma. We've got to detach ourselves. But at some point we need to release ourselves. So when those things pop up, it's staying open is a moment by moment practice. That's our choice. What happens in this moment, it's your choice about if you want to allow this to really connect in with you, learn from it, and live it, and then let it go. Let it be free in you. But if you analyze it, process it, keep on trying to think through it and fight it, and not wanting to have the best for you, and close your heart from it or push it down, oh, I can't deal with any of those things right now, then you're closing your heart and you're stopping that energy flowing. Closing drains us, it exhausts us, and it keeps us stuck in survival. Where if we live each moment while we're experiencing and letting it go and allowing it to pass through without fighting it, then we are truly living from the depth of our being. And Michael Singer's teaching about closing the heart to protect ourselves and how that actually drains our energy is something I've lived through in real time. I've gone through multiple traumas through my life. I've had triggers that pop up. I've had burnout. I've had dark depression. I've had emotional stuff going on. I've been in survival mode for much of my life. But now I choose none of these. I choose to not close my heart anymore because I've paid that price. But I'm choosing differently. I'm making better choices for me today. And I think this also explains why forgiveness is so important. It's not about forgiving the act of what that person did. It's about letting go so it doesn't close you off. If you surrender to what's going on, that's just really important to let that go. Why trauma, no doubt, we're feeling left like there's nothing left of us. There's no energy because of that protection and safety. It's shut off our inner energy. And yes, we will have negative impressions that will come to us all day long. We'll have negative thoughts that go off in our mind. But how we choose to close them or open them or let them go, we're in control of that and can turn anything around to remain open. That's what I've been learning over the last few weeks. But in actual fact, closing your heart from the energy doesn't protect you at all. What Singer says, we think it's going to protect us, so we bury it, we numb it, we drink alcohol or do whatever we do to get rid of it. No, I don't want to think about that. And just numb that. I'll push it down. I'll block it out. I don't want to know about it. And that is closing our heart and losing energy and flow in us. So to create that energy and that frequency within us, to remain open and of love of all of our parts, then we got to change. Notice the closing, open it again as soon as you can. You're only limited by the ability to stay open. Through meditation and awareness, relaxing and releasing into every moment, you'll be more aware of what your opening and closing are doing of your heart. And it will help you to love life. A few weeks ago, I was not loving life. I had a medication that sent me into a dark depression of a side effect from long-term use. That wasn't really long, but it was something that no one told me about. And it was awful to go through that. And I realized, I was in such a good place, and then suddenly something happened. Nothing really happened, but this medication just sent me into this dark. And Singer talks about depression being how everything is all closed off in inwardly, that we can't even feel anything good. We can't feel joy. We can't feel energy. We can't feel love or enthusiasm. And it's like a dark shadow has gone across us. And there's no energy, there's no flow, there's no frequency that's going on. It's all blocked out. And that's how I was feeling. And I've turned that around to be more open, like after getting off this medication and going through withdrawals and a pretty awful amount of lack of sleep. But on the other side of this, I am now so present in the moment that I can see when something's coming towards me. I feel the irritation. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to let that change my day. I'm letting it go, and I'll move my hand on the right, like I come in on the left, and nope, letting it go, and move it off in the right, even like someone driving crazy, or I'm doing that as I'm going through every moment. And I'm finding that I'm filled with more joy and love, energy flow, enthusiasm. I'm open, and my energy is so much higher because of that. Yesterday I had this amazing day where I just was tuned in all day to that. And I was able to get people to laugh and feel more comfortable within themselves, because that's what the energy that I was at and the frequency, and that filled the room as well. It was just so incredible. And I walked out and I thought, I always thought I was such a serious person, but being lighter and feeling the way I am, any of us could feel so much better than we are, our best selves. It's a conscious choice to let go, to wave it goodbye, to release it, to return to openness, and the immediate shift in your energy you will feel. And I always wanted to feel like I was a gentle stream just flowing down. And sometimes I might have to be a rapid river and get things done quite quickly. I don't really like pressure and timing. I don't serve well with that anymore. But just to be this gentle stream. And I felt if any way that my day could flow like that, then I am living well. And that is living whole. And this, in the deeper truth, is when we widen this lens a little bit and we look at what closes us off. That trauma pushed over a lifetime. The heart closing as a survival strategy. And the moment, though, something rises is the moment to meet it. And that's really important. That's the difference between surviving and living, between coping and transforming, and balancing and integrating. If we look at the heart of what we could do better for ourselves, it is that. The moment something rises within you Your body is saying, you're ready to deal with this, mind. So go with it and deal with it whatever way that you can. Sharing it externally, I always find, is the most helpful to meet it. Surviving equals closing. Healing equals opening. Transforming equals integrating. And living whole is staying open long enough for energy to move through you. Wherever you are right now, let this moment be enough. Let your body soften just a little. Feel the weight of where you're sitting, the air on your skin, the quiet hum of the room around you. There's nothing to fix, nothing to push away, nothing to hold on to. Just this moment, exactly as it is. Notice what rises in you. A thought, a feeling, a memory, a flicker. Could be of irritation or of joy. Don't hold it. Don't fight it. Don't judge it. Just let it pass, like a leaf dripping down a stream on that gentle flow. Now breathe in and breathe out. And feel the space that opens when you don't resist the moment you're in. This is living whole. It's presence. A gentle choice to stay open right here, right now. Let this be your practice today. A soft returning to the stream that's always flowing beneath everything. Wholeness is when everything belongs. Integration is the moment your inner world becomes a home again. Your story becomes the doorway back to yourself. Openness is what lets energy move through you. Every day, moments become invitations to stay open. Letting go returns you to the stream beneath everything. And this is the shift from surviving to living. This is living whole. You've been listening to Dr Mel Baker from Living Reflections. Thanks for listening.